Hello, everyone. Welcome today to another episode on Pokes on Relationships. Here we speak everything relationships, and today I would like to speak about AI versus human need. AI is bad, AI is good. Which one is it? I came across two interesting videos that I want to share with you today. One that was advocating for AI and saying that AI makes us more efficient. And while the other one was by somebody who's not a foreigner to technology, not quite sure about where technology goes to. In the one, Bill Gates, one of the architects of this digital age, sounded a little bit unsure about AI. I don't know how that makes me feel. And in another one, it was argued that if we don't win the race for AI, then China will win, and then that will decide the future. And then I read something quieter in the comments, and that was 60% of customers facing AI systems immediately ask to speak to a human. So I have one question. What if the question about AI is not country versus country, but technology versus human need? Now, as I say, AI I don't think AI is all bad. I don't. In fact, I'm very grateful to AI in a lot of cases. And there's another video which love to speak about later on that talks about jobs that AI can't replace. And consistently throughout the type of jobs that AI can't replace have a certain level of human interaction and empathy that's required for these professions. I mean, the dominant narratives for AI is that it's competition. Nations compete, USA versus China, and companies are competing, OpenAI versus DeepSeek. And whoever builds the smartest machines wins the century. I mean, that sounds logical, but that's when until you notice something missing. People are missing in some of these AI narratives. And so I wanted to show you this clip. I thought it was pretty telling. And then I would like to share some of the comments that I actually thought was pretty funny in this particular video. So let's take a listen. Let me share it with you. There we go.
Doing in Ukraine.
You might be underselling it. Far from being, in a bubble, AI is underhyped.
These companies aren't trying to build toys. They're trying to build something that can do everything that a human can do.
Whether it's in coding, whether it's in radiology, whether it's legal work, we're already seeing AI models being able to outperform humans in certain domains.
And yet the basic debate is it going to be able to write my essay for school for me? Most of these companies are relatively new, and the people at the top of them are unbelievably personally wealthy.
People have made AI videos, and it's pretty coherent.
Yeah.
It looks good.
The problem? These large language models exist only at the moment in China and the US.
AI, which is taking...
Is that a problem? I don't think it's a problem. I'm glad that not too many countries are rushing ahead with some of the AI technologies. I mean, in other regards, I do think that I would like other countries to be adopters of this technology. But I don't know.
over the world.
My worry is that we say, let's be cautious, let's not adopt, let's try and preserve things as they are. But our competitors internationally don't do that. We need a solution to stagnation. And it's very possible that AI is our way out of the mess.
Now, that line really rang a bell. We need a solution to stagnation. That really reminds me of the interview that we watched with Peter Thiel, where he seemed very concerned about stagnation. And I don't know. I don't think we're stagnant as a society. And I often wonder, what is it about just this obsession with being stagnant in technology? I mean, what's the motive? I mean, I honestly, I don't have a right or wrong answer, and I'm not necessarily against or for. I just like to ask questions, and I always like to get to the bottom of things. And for me, I like to get to the bottom of intent and motivation and conviction, as I say, because it really does shape our society, especially if the people who are shaping society are the ones creating these products. It affects our lives. And so I do wonder, are we stagnant? I don't think we are, but let's continue.
Or our route into mass unemployment, increased inequality, and massive threats to the future of humanity.
I suppose the thing that is most urgent is that no one knows, and anyone who tells you otherwise is lying.
Okay, so there you have it. There's that first video, but I have to share some comments that I thought was pretty hilarious, actually, with one of these videos, and I think I agreed with one of the particular comments. So let me see if you can see it. It goes, quick, our competitors are rushing towards the cliff. We must hurry to beat them there. Humanity will not survive this madness. And that's what I've been thinking too, is that, in some regards, I think that it's good to want to be the best. It's good to want to be ahead with cutting edge technology. Even on a personal level, I don't think as human beings we should be left behind. There have been a number of revolutions, and those that didn't adapt quickly just were not able to keep abreast and got left behind. And so I don't think that AI is all terrible and that there's no benefits to it. But I do wonder, this race, who are we racing against and for what and why? What is the urgency to just get societies that haven't had 100% buy-in for AI technology to suddenly just get this aggressive, adoption and love for AI, especially for me? As you know, I'm all about relationships, especially in spaces that I think should be inherently kept sacred for humans, like relationships, interactions with each other. I don't want AI and I don't want technology to replace those things, because that is the bedrock of society. If we stop relating to each other, if we stop connecting with each other, then how do we continue the human race? So I thought that clip was pretty interesting, and I noticed the language in this one. It was one of speed, dominance, winning. And as I've asked earlier, winning to what? Efficiency to what? Now, again, efficiency, I must admit myself that in some cases, AI has pleasantly surprised me. And there are tons of people who are actually taking advantage of AI and leveraging this and becoming better for it. But then what do we do though, when it comes into areas where it's not helping us as a human race and where it's really affecting us as a society? And so with that, I wanted to play this next video for you while I get it ready. It might just
How confident
blast.
are you that AI's...
There we go. So I'm going to share it with you. There, hopefully you can see it. And this video, I was like, should I be worried or should I not be worried? Like, what's going on? But just take a listen and we can discuss this further.
How confident are you that AI's promise will outweigh the perils?
I'm not confident, but
Okay. All right. Here's Bill Gates here. Definitely not a technophobe, okay? Somebody who's been very much at the front edge of investing and being involved in cutting edge technology and in advancing technology, and saying that he's not confident that benefits will outweigh costs. I wonder.
and that's what we need to get oriented around. That's why I was surprised AI wasn't really an issue in the last election. It's definitely...
Yeah, I think that too. I wonder about that. And I wonder if it was intentional. I think he raises a valid point. Why wasn't AI an issue in the last election? Fascinating.
got to be shaped.
Hearing you say you're not confident is kind of scary.
People should think through, how is AI going to reshape our lives? It is a profound change agent, and I don't think it should just be the people who know the technology, because there's a lot of choices about how it gets used. It will change learning. It will change the job market. And, I think we can shape that in the right way, but it'll be, just like nuclear energy, nuclear weapons, it'll challenge us.
How
I
confident
find
are
it
you
is-
that AI's
Sorry about
promise will
that.
outweigh the perils?
So I find, again, when I did my doomsday video, I just found it very interesting that we are drawing parallels between AI and nuclear weapons, you guys. I don't know. Isn't that scary? I think that's scary. But not too scary if we choose human. Okay? If we, in certain spaces, start deciding that we're going to build strong relationships as a form of resistance. And so for me, the fact that Bill Gates also expressed some sort of reservation about it, I'm not sure if it's comforting or if it's worrying. But definitely this conversation is not going to end soon, and we should definitely be having conversations and asking ourselves these very serious questions. I think when society becomes apathetic about just things that are happening around them and just let things happen to them and we become reactionary, that's when we get hurt as a people. And I think this time around, it's something that people can't ignore, because in real time, people's jobs are disappearing. And in real time, people in marriages are having AI chatbot girlfriends. What does that mean for society? What does that mean for people? What does that mean for relationships? And so I think that this is pretty interesting to find. The more I dig deeper in this AI conversation, is pretty interesting just to see where we are going as a society. And I think I'm happy that more and more people are waking up to this and asking more questions. And rightfully so. I think that it's at the end of the day, it's going to affect every single person, whether we like it or not. It might not affect you directly, but it could affect somebody close to you, for the good or for the bad. Either way, we should not be silent in this conversation, nor should we sit back in the architecture and creation of what this future could potentially be for us. What was pretty interesting in one of the comments is that, the tension matters, right? That he talks about the promise, but also the limits. Bill Gates talks about the limits, uncertainty, unintended costs. And I think that this tension does matter. And I think this is, I guess it's this tension, right, is where this conversation is had. And it's like the people who built this technology are also not entirely sure where it leads. And I think, that concerns me too, but I guess not too much, because then I think hopefully it also leaves room for the people, the everyday people who are going to be affected, to be actively involved in the shaping of that future. And, even though they're not aware of where it's going, I think very clearly we can see that ordinary life is sending us signals. I'll share this comment with you, which I thought was pretty interesting. This comment, it said, I work for a loan lender and they're going full steam ahead on AI. And I guess wanted to say, and let me tell you, customers do not want it. We ran some numbers on messages coming. About 60% ask for a person straight away. And again, you can see that at the end of the day, because a lot of this drive is driven by bottom line, people wanting to respond to human need, if we keep insisting that what our real need wants and what we want to invest in is human relationships, I guess it's gonna have to listen to that. And so I want to encourage people that don't get discouraged. I know that if you've been affected by your job being taken over by AI, on the opposite side of the coin is an opportunity for you to find ways to also, leverage off of that and use it either to start a business or to find out more information about other things. You know, there are other professions like trading. Also, as I say, in a way, I'm an incurable optimist. In a way, I'm kind of grateful for this AI conversation and this AI speak and speed, because I think that it's going to force the human race to come full circle. We are going to start to realize our need more and more for intimate connection, intimate relations, real human to human relations. Now, AI can simulate a lot of what I can do, can simulate a lot of what you can do, but it can never be you. And I mean, just that comment that 60%, that's more than half of, in that demographic, more than half of the people still asking for human connection. So let's not stop asking for this. Let's not stop asking and insisting on human relevance, on society. Let's not just be despondent and just think that only a few people are going to be able to decide this future and that we have nothing to do. We can still choose each other. And that's, I think, my comfort. Human beings, we're resilient. We are able to overcome. We've overcome, and I've shared in other previous comments, we're better than this and we will overcome it. But another interesting comment, which I did speak about, and that's a sentiment that's been going on around quite a lot, is, copyright. AI and a lot of AI information has been built on human intellectual property. And so when I think of AI versus human need, I just think, okay, well, what do we do? I read this comment and I just wanted to share it with you, and I wanted to have a discussion about it. I want to talk. Let's talk about this. So I'll share this and I'll read it out. It says, you're all so invested in what it could mean for different people. You've been distracted from what AI tools are. Ultimate plagiarism machines that will always stem from human creativity, knowledge, without those that create being paid for their labor. Generalizing does not make it better. We should be looking at copyright and what it means to invent, license, distribute, nationally and globally compete against a plagiarism tool that anyone can use to circumvent ownership limitations and fair use. AI tools can and will be used to generalize copyrighted creations, which will disincentivize creativity and have huge geopolitical ramifications. The other thing AI is good for is political persuasion through social media if you follow the money. Follow the money. Very interesting. Human plagiarism is AI human plagiarism. Then again, people could argue that so was Google, so was all these search engines. And yeah, it might be human plagiarism. But, today I want to push back a little bit and ask, what about those who are now able to get ahead because of AI? A lot of the information has been, there's been gatekeeping in a lot of fields. It's like lots of information. There's a different school of thought that people believe that information should be free. And so when we speak of a human need, yes, very much biological human need for connection. But then on the other side, one could also argue for human need for access to information, right? For example, people who wouldn't have had the opportunity or finances to be able to afford coding schools, or even just had the privilege of just speaking to a coach on something, can now do that because of AI technology. Those who couldn't go to school, just things and opportunities that have actually opened up for people now because of AI. And so even though I know the human need, the biological human need for connection, for relationship is a very real thing, on the other hand, there's other needs, other human needs, and which one is more priority? Anyway, I don't have the right, as I said, I don't have the answers, but I do have questions, and I did have to sit back and try and balance both sides of this argument. AI versus human need. What do you think? let me know. I think more and more, at least, we're seeing people requesting for human interaction. I guess, in for example, in that comment about that lender, and that's even in banking. That's not necessarily a romantic relationship, but because that's not data transfer, but presence. That's what people are asking for. They're asking for presence, and no race between superpowers can replace that. Nobody can replace that. Anyway, so I guess the question is not who wins the AI race, but then what happens to society that outruns its own need for connection? Interesting. Need for connection or need versus information, which I think public AI has now given a lot of people. I haven't really thought of that, but I think at first blush, I know that for me, definitely when it comes to human connection, relationship, intimacy, privacy, things that keep the mystery about the human unique. I don't want technology, not necessarily AI, but robots or anything to replace that. Not apps, not dating apps. Nothing beats a real human. And if there are real issues like loneliness, toxicity, selfishness, then let's deal with that. Let's deal with that and not respond to it with a piece of tech, which I still think is a form of escapism. Alas, I digress. But anyway, let me know what you think. I'm curious what you think. Is it risk, race, relationship? Tell me in the chat, in the comments. And until next time, bye bye.